Good evening, New Bedford Guide. Chris Resendes back. Had a little vacation, feeling refreshed. It's been about a month and a half since our last episode. Lots been going on in my life, and hopefully yours too. Spring's here, summer's here finally. Spring at night some nights, summer during the day other nights. I am actually really enjoying this weather. Two special guests tonight. Two women that I've known pretty much all my life, both of them, which is pretty cool. One as a child and one as a schoolmate. Both have been on my show before, and they both have more stuff to talk about. Each one of them has had a lot going on since their last appearance on the New Bedford Guide. And without further ado, enough of me, and let's get with them. Helena Dasilva Hughes and Jennifer Blum. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Jen, we're going to start off with Helena. She's telling me on the way here, I got all these interviews going on. I've been doing a lot of stuff here, so I'm going to get her in and out, so that way we can start bothering Miss Popular over there. Helena, you've been quite the busy woman as of recent. I looked on, you and I are friends on Facebook, and I'm seeing you around with cap and gowns, and you got awards, you got presidents hugging you and kissing you. What's going on with you lately?
I don't know what to tell you.
Been quite busy, huh?
Yes.
The reason why I had to ask you, let's just get this out of the way, let's get the meat of the story here to come on, is you're having a citizenship clinic, something that you are really trying to push with the Immigrants Assistance Center. Mm-hmm. During these clinics, you have a bunch of people coming in, and what are the services offered at these clinics? Well,
first of all, I think it's the best way to integrate our immigrant community is to make sure our legal permanent residents, which is green card holders, the best way to integrate this community into the American way of life is to make sure that they become U.S. citizens.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to get as many people to become U.S. citizens as possible. We've seen our numbers quadrupled from previous years, which is a great thing. And so we're actually doing citizenship applications every day. We make appointments. So what I decided to do, and we've done this in the past, is to offer a citizenship clinic on a Saturday. So people don't have to take time out of work, or for the people that work during the week and cannot come to the center, they're able to come on Saturday. This Saturday, from 1 to 6, we are going to be filling out citizenship applications, which is N400s. And so it's a great opportunity for people who work during the day to come on Saturday and have it all done. We will be filling out the applications, but for anyone who, of course, meets the criteria, which the criteria to become a U.S. citizen or to apply for citizenship, you have to be in the United States as a legal permanent resident for 5 years, you have to speak English, you have to read and write, and then it's questions regarding the history of the United States. So what we do at the center is not only are we offering ESOL classes, but as they learn the language, we prepare them to start taking the citizenship test. We tutor them, we do mock interviews, and so we actually go from the beginning of teaching them how to speak English to preparing them for citizenship. I can honestly say that we have close to a 98% success rate.
Now, a lot of these people here that have been attending.
Yes.
Cape Verdean, Portuguese.
Portuguese, Spanish, all different, a very diverse population.
Oh, really? So you do have everyone available for all these languages on these workshops Saturdays?
That's right. Yeah, we do actually the classes, and I actually brought the schedule with me. So we're providing citizenship classes in the morning for people to work the second shift. We do it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 11 to 12. Actually, Inez Droulet, who used to work for Congressman Keating, who's retired now, is coming back to the center to teach ESOL classes.
Oh, that's cool.
So she teaches those classes in the morning, and in the evening we have Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we have ESOL classes from 4 till 5:30, and then we have citizenship classes from 5:30 till 7. And we also have classes on Saturdays from 2 to 3, and citizenship instructions from 3 to 5. So we just having these classes is a great way to prepare people to take their citizenship tests.
Now, with these classes, I mean, do you offer any type of other courses to help these people assimilate into the American way?
Well, I think, first of all, I think once they become U.S. citizens, because what happens is we help them through the whole process. So let's say they're in class. Once you apply, submit your application for citizenship to USCIS, it takes about 9 months right now for the whole process. So what we do as we provide support throughout the whole process. So as they're learning the language, we're preparing them for citizenship, submitting the application. After we submit the application to USCIS, they have to go do the fingerprints. So once they do the fingerprints, there's about 3 FBI checks that gets done. Criminal background, it's a background checks. And then after that, they would get called in for an interview, a personal interview. So the citizenship applications that they submit has a lot of information regarding themselves and their families. One of the questions they ask is if you believe in the Constitution, have you ever been in trouble before, do you pay your taxes?
You gotta ask some American citizens these days if they believe in the
child
Constitution.
Support? So all of those questions, have you ever been in trouble, how many times have you been married, information regarding your previous wife, all of your information regarding your children. So it's have you served in the military?
Now now all these questions, my grandmother did it, and they've all gone. My parents are immigrants. Both of them came here from Portugal at a young age, but they all, got their citizenship all taken care of. Actually, my mom, we discussed this, used to help people with an attorney and all that stuff. But you know what? My grandmother was one of those people that was like, we did the bare minimum to pass the test, and then just like, no. Up until the point where, my wife, I was 30 when I met her. We were dating. She's like, oh, she needs to learn Portuguese. I'm like, my wife's American from America. Like, no, you need to. I know you're 80-something, lady, but it's about time you learn a little bit more English, Yeah,
but
are you telling these people, like, hey, man, you need to assimilate more. You need to get into the culture, or is it just the bare minimum like my grandmother did?
Well, first of all,
are you teaching the test? Are you teaching?
Now, first of all, let's get to the other part. So, for example, your grandmother could actually become a U.S. citizen by taking the oral test in her native language.
Yeah.
So if you're over the age of 50.
Well, she's passed. She got her citizenship. What I'm saying is, after her citizenship, she's still like, no, I'm not.
She did her citizenship.
No, she needs to learn Portuguese. I'm like,
it's that.
She's from Kentucky. Like, what are you talking about? She doesn't need to learn Portuguese. She knows Fecha Porta and Dá-me beige. That's about it.
That's enough. You need to. That'll get you something. But the thing is that for people like your grandmother, or for people, so if you've been a legal permanent resident for over 20 years and you're over the age of 50, or if you're 55 and you've been in the United States for 15 years as a legal resident, you can apply for citizenship in your native language. You have about 100 questions that you need to study. We actually have created CDs for a lot of fishermen can take it when they go at sea. And it's very, very helpful. So they have to study still the 100 questions, and then it's just going to be a few questions, but you never know which questions are going to be asked. They're exempt from reading and writing. And so it's about memorizing, like you just said, for the test. And then once they pass the test, they need to have somebody that will translate for them. So they need to bring a translator. And then once they pass the test, then they get sworn in as which we've been providing those swearing in ceremonies at the Immigrants Assistance Center.
Nice.
We're actually going to plan to have another one sometime soon. So they go through the whole process with us to the point of actually so our classroom becomes a courtroom, and we get a judge, and it's amazing. We get the New Bedford High School ROTC to do the changing of colors. We get the students to come and sing to sing the anthem, and it's really an emotional event for a lot of for our students and for people who because I went through the whole process myself too. So it's really important that not only and I always say, the best way to integrate our immigrant community is for them to become U.S. citizens. At the same time, if you're becoming a U.S. citizen, you basically are protected by the United States. Because a legal permanent resident or a green card holder doesn't have the same rights as a U.S. citizen. And, they can, especially with all of this, what's going on right now with immigration, they can be definitely, they're not safe.
Now, speaking of that, gosh, you said the numbers are 4 times greater than the number. Now, you and I have touched upon this in the past. Is this because people are like, hey, Trump's not playing with this immigration stuff, get your papers before you get kicked out?
Yeah, I agree. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I would just, say this again. I know that in the past we would do about 150, 175 completed applications per year. We're up to like 975 last year, I think the numbers.
So you went up from 175 to nearly 1,000 over the past 500 days of this presidency.
Yeah, within a year after he got elected. So
business is good for the Immigration Center, huh?
No, it's not immigration. It's Immigrants Assistance Center. A lot of people think we're immigration. It's not.
No, you're there to help, but I'm just saying, like, so are you getting funding because of all this? Like, have you been able to apply for more grants now?
Okay, so this is something. So, for example, we get funding from to prepare people for citizenship.
Yeah.
We get funding from the Massachusetts Office for Refugees and Immigrants out of Boston. It's state funding. So, for example, they give us funding to do 120 applications, right? But I mean, we've done them. So they've given us a little bit more because there's so many applications that we have done that we haven't got paid for.
Right.
So right now, they keep giving us a little bit more. So
it's just trickling in.
So it's just trickling in.
Do you see this continuing? This 975?
Right now, that was until the end of December. Right now, and this is not even counting this year.
Wow,
that's good.
Yeah, it is good because we want people to become U.S. citizens.
I mean, I got friends that are still, I mean, gosh, we're family. Like, dude, you've been here for 20 years, get your papers. Like, come on, man, let's do this, And it's awesome. It's good that it's a diverse community. That's why I asked.
It's very diverse.
The Cape Verdean community is large in Massachusetts, especially in this region. The Portuguese and the Spanish community as well.
But we are helping, actually, I always say that our ESOL classes, and even our citizenship classes, we say it's like United Nations. We have people from China, we have from Bangladesh, we have people from Iran, we also have people from Dominican Republic. So we have people from all Argentina, people from everywhere. So I always say when we have our citizenship ceremonies, we'll be representing plus like 15 countries. And so it's really amazing with the citizenship program. And I always, I'm a firm believer that is the best way for people to integrate and to protect them against anything that's coming down the pipeline. So having a green card is not enough. And you're right, people are applying for citizenship out of fear of what's going to happen, what kind of immigration policies, President Trump is going to come up with. So because of that, we are seeing people are now realizing that having a green card is not enough. So they're applying for citizenship.
Awesome. I mean, do it the right way. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. The services, the needs, and actually, I've talked to other immigrants, and it's the best thing they did. They felt a sense of pride and a sense of ownership, becoming a citizen.
Yeah,
you don't have to forget it.
You don't forget your culture.
They're American citizens. They've been American citizens for decades, but they're still Portuguese. Like, you don't have to forget. You don't lose that. I'm Portuguese.
Yeah.
I was born here, but I'm Portuguese. I identify as a Portuguese American. But there's a certain way to do things. That's why when these people start talking all this craziness, like, oh, he's against immigration. No, actually, it's actually helping you because you're open up to a lot of services. These people with green cards now
are becoming U.S. citizens, which is
the
great.
Opportunity is even better for them now.
We definitely, but then the issue becomes, the ones that have a green cards, but then we have a population, as you and I talked about this, that there's no path for them to legalize their status.
That's on them. Sorry. And that's something that can be worked out later on if somebody wants to play that game that we won't talk about.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next 20 years of Democrats and Republicans.
Which will never get
insanity.
Anywhere.
Keep doing the same thing. Oh, we're going to fix immigration. No, you don't. Nobody does. It's something that they run campaigns on, and they're all full of crap. Now that we got that out, is there any other stuff that you're ready to plug? Because I know you're always doing some of the Morrissey bands and all those guys. Those kids are awesome, by the way.
Those kids are awesome. Yeah, they put together a fundraiser for us. They raised over $26,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Jen's like, can I get the number?
Well, the thing about it is that it's amazing because of everything and our increase in services. So basically, our clientele, we've increased like 30%. So in order for us to keep
these funds.
We need to raise funds because we're definitely not depending on the government to support us, that's for sure. So we need to raise we need to do fundraising. So we're doing 2 fundraisers per year. We're having one coming up on August 9th that we're just sending our support sponsorship
letters.
What's
that all about?
That's actually we're doing that at the Madeira Heritage Museum. That's the summer fundraiser that we do right after the feast.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I know exactly. So it's like the mini feast that happens after the feast.
Yeah, we do it on the
So when everybody's all done with their hangover, they got a few days to recover, and they
then
get
they
a
go back
little
to
more
that,
wine if they need it, you know?
They go back to the museum, and then we have
I call that one the safe feast.
Yeah.
Because I'm too old for the regular feast these days. I go on the Sundays for a little bit with the kids, let them go around the parade, but like I don't do it anymore like I used to.
Yeah. So now, so we do this fundraiser right after the feast, and which is great. And so right now it's just between the feast, that the fundraiser that we're doing, our citizenship clinic, the services that we have. We have the elder group, the social group, the Portuguese elder social group, which I absolutely love. We're having more and more elders participate. They usually participate. A lot of them participate when they lose their husbands because they're so lonely and depressed. We want them to socialize and not be.
Maybe you could have some sewing and
we do.
Gestata classes over there.
We don't have Gestata classes, but there's some knitting and there's some crocheting going on.
Send some pants down there to get hemmed. You know what I mean? Because my mom and everybody in that generation used to be able to do that stuff.
I know how to do
that.
Go
ask my wife to stitch something right now.
Yeah, do it yourself, right?
Pretty much. Go walk to your mother's house if you want to do it,
Exactly.
And that's something that you can maybe do, I'm sure there'd be, because I saw a post that somebody had like a sewing machine, someone our age, Jen. I forgot who it was. And people were like, oh my God, what is that?
What is that?
What are you doing?
I'd
love to learn how to sew. And I'm thinking, a lot of people would. Now that you mention that, let's get these old Portuguese women. You can get some fundraising over there. Do sewing classes.
We're selling the poetry book, though.
There you go.
We created a poetry book, so we're selling the poetry book online, actually, at our immigrantsassistancecenter.org. And I'm trying to see, because we have no funding for the group. But we're just trying to see if I can, instead of having one day, have 2 days, because these elders really, really need it. Instead of staying home waiting to die, we don't want that to happen. So we want them to having field trips and things like that, which we've taken.
I'm going to get called a misogynist now. Guys, you can go learn how to sew too, all right? It's 2018. I forget that I can't be inclusive. You know what I mean? I whoever else you can join in. You can sew if you want to learn how to sew.
Yeah, but what I wanted to mention was that if anyone is applying for citizenship and would like us to fill out the applications or even just review the applications, because it's important, because sometimes people think they can do it themselves and they submit the application and before you know it, there's all kinds of can of worms that you just open.
Yep.
So we just want to make sure that we're providing that everything is done correctly, and so what they need to do is if they do meet the criteria and they're listening to us right now or watching us, it is extremely important for them to call the Immigrants Assistance Center at 508-996-8113. Again, 508-996-8113. Our office is open every day, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. And please call the center and make your appointment, because we just want to make sure that we know who's coming in on Saturday, because the clinic is taking place from 9 to 1, but we need to screen everyone before they come in and have their applications done. So it is extremely important that they do that. Call the center, make an appointment, so this way we'll know how many volunteers we're going to be needing, because the application takes about an hour to fill out.
Wow.
It's a very extensive application. So
now, would you say it was 508-996-8113?
That's correct.
Perfect. I'll put it up on the comments, so if anybody wants to get that, make sure you call, get your appointment, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually cut this tonight again,
Perfect.
Helena, just your segment right now, so that way I could put it up tomorrow and make sure it's up there. So hopefully you get some phone calls and get the appointments so you get everything done. Anything else?
No, that is it. Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm pretty sure I'll come back and talk about other things.
No, we're going to start talking about real life stuff. We kind of digress from what I wanted to do. I'm going to change the show a little bit. We're just going to talk about stuff like Portuguese women sewing and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like a good.
And let it just talk and let stuff just flow how it flows.
That sounds.
But I know you had something to do and somewhere to be and something to plug, so I wanted to make sure you got that done.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
But next time you owe me some useless facts and conversation.
Okay, useless facts and conversations. Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Let me just, before you leave, we got a couple pictures, and I want to, give credit where credit's due. We had a 2018 Distinguished Citizen Award granted to you by Bristol Community College.
Yes.
What was that about?
Well, I was shocked, actually, when I got the call saying that I was chosen by the Board of Trustees of BCC. So I was very honored and at the same time very humble.
Deservedly so.
Thank you so much.
You've been doing so much for this community since I was a child, literally.
It's been 34 years since I've been at the center.
Parents, grandparents, people my age that have been affected positively by what you've done for them and the center.
Yeah,
and you've been a driving force behind that center, and gosh, you deserve that, 100% and more. Hopefully we get some funding for these stuff that you're getting.
Yeah, so.
And then also we had a guy that, I mean, your husband must have felt a little uncomfortable. We had a guy visiting New Bedford that was all up on you, kissing you and stuff, and hugging on you. What's going on? Who's that in that picture right there?
That's the president of Portugal.
The president of Portugal will not leave Helena alone. See that?
No, he was kissing everybody. I was not special.
But he does know you, and you have received the awards?
Awards I have received. I received the Merit of Order award given by the President of Portugal, and at a commander level. So it was pretty,
That's a distinguished honor.
It was a very distinguished honor, and so it's very humbling, but at the same time, I was born in Portugal, so getting such a high honor by a president of Portugal was extremely important. That was a couple of years ago.
That's awesome. Helena, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We still got some sunlight. This is
I know.
nice. Like, I'm loving this. Like, I may actually catch sunlight. I'm definitely catching sunlight because Josh is kicking me out at 8 o'clock. He already told me.
Sounds like a plan.
Get the hell out. You messed up. You didn't get me on time, and now I'm missing out my kids. So,
yeah.
Josh is the guy behind the Bedford Guide, all pictures and everything else, and he just
He's everywhere.
Oh,
he's like
everywhere.
God. He's like everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's getting pushed by Portuguese cameraman at the president's show, everything, you know what I mean? We're going to get Josh a mic because I'm dying, and he's one of the wittiest guys around, and he just hides back there, and he shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Helena, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Anytime, stop by. Anytime you need me to plug anything, please continue to stop by and let me know if I can help you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Josh, we got anybody? We got any restaurants or whatever else to plug today? Nothing today. Good. Plug myself. Chris Resendes show. Back.
Good.
Josh, you can just... Oh, gosh. Helena, you're going to over the hill through the woods. Yeah, just put it on the double screen, Josh, and we won't put any pictures up right now. We moved to a new studio. Helena knew the last path, and I didn't leave a trail of breadcrumbs for her to get out tonight. So Josh has got to let her out. We're running without a producer right now. But we don't need one because we have my friend, badass guest right here, Jenn Blum from the Help Save Foundation. Jen has been a very busy girl. We had her on, and it was awesome. One of my favorite guests. I know I plugged Kevin, but I didn't want to do double Jens in one day.
I like Kevin, though. He's
Kevin's
a great
cool,
guest,
man.
yeah.
I love that. And he was like energy, and I'm like, he actually pumped me up to get back on the show today.
Yeah.
I watched that whole thing when I cut it today, and I was like, man, I got to get like Kevin. Like
he really does have a lot of energy.
The dude's pumped. Like,
yeah,
how many jolts did you drink before you came on my show, dude? I was like, I forgot how like, man, he makes you just want to like pick stuff and get going.
He motivates you.
He's a motivator, and he's a great guy. And as are you. I mean, the last time you came on, Jen, was crazy. The next morning, you called me up. Yeah. Like, it was like a turning point in this show. Like, I got asked to do a show. Jen was one of my first guests. I'm like, Jen, you got to help me out. These people gave me a damn show. I don't know what I'm doing. I know you're a badass guest, and we're going to have you on, and we're going to plug your foundation. And sure, I'll do it, Chris. Both of us didn't know what to expect.
I tried to tell you that, what was going to happen after I came on. But
no, it was cool. I kind of blew up a little bit. It was cool. So the next morning, Jen calls me up, and I'm getting a potential spam. That's all I get on my damn phone nowadays.
Mine too.
I mean, who called you? You said, you text me. I don't think anybody really called me. My dad still calls. He doesn't text. But other than that.
The rest of it's spam.
Spam.
Yeah.
Damn spam. So anyway, the next morning, Jen calls me up and says, hey, I got messages last night.
Yeah, we had a lot of messages.
And you actually walked a couple women into the police station the next day. And tell us about that. Like, all right, show, Chris Resendes show, whatever it's called. At that point, we still weren't sure that we were going to even have a show the next week or not.
But there it is.
And you come on, you touched me. Like, I literally was teary-eyed like throughout that
A
show.
lot of people said that actually after the show. That
Man,
like,
it was
oh my
cool.
gosh,
And I had a lot of messages from my friends. I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, I did.
We have
yeah.
a lot of mutual friends since we grew up together, basically. And man, we touched a lot of people, but these two people in specific, what happened the next morning after we talked?
Well, then actually, one was the night of.
The night of?
Yeah, and there was a woman that had watched the show, and she's a victim of domestic violence. She got away from her abuser. She was actually put in a shelter up in Boston. Was there for 1.5 years with her 3 children, had a restraining order, but this is where the system needs a little bit of fixing. While she was there, her restraining order obviously ran out, and she couldn't come back down here because it was a threat for her to do that. So after 1.5 years of being in the shelter, she decided that she was going to come back home. And she went back to her home in Fall River, and within 2 days, her abuser found her.
Jeez.
So it was a matter of, and now she's lost because she has no restraining order. So there's nothing, again, I think we've discussed how I feel about restraining orders anyway.
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper, and anyone that wants to do something is going to do it regardless of the piece of paper or not. So that being said, though, she felt very uncomfortable that her and her 3 children now had nothing. There was no protection at all, and he knew where she was. And he was sending her messages. So she watched the show, contacted me that night. The next morning we were talking, and I ended up bringing her into the police station, and we got her another restraining order. But that's how quick it happens. You know, in a blink of an eye, you can be found. That's just the world as it is.
Well, nowadays there's no hiding.
There's no hiding, no.
There's no hiding.
It's not even worth trying because there's no hiding.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. They've given too much information out, I feel, at this point.
I mean, you just Google somebody and you pay $5, you can find out background checks, everything.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
If they didn't pay their last cell phone bill, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's like,
it's true.
I mean, we're in a great time.
We're in a great.
If you think about it,
right.
But with everything, there's good and there's bad. Whatever there is, there's a negative side to it.
Absolutely.
No matter what the technology is. Yeah, we're great. I got Hunter Blum. Mom, Hunter's on social media. Look at this.
Hunter's been off social media actually for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, he's just been.
You just
permitted.
gave him the keys
I
back?
just gave him the keys to watch the show. He said, "How am I going to watch you if I can't go on Facebook?" I said, "All right, I'll let you be on Facebook tonight."
Well, he's go, mom, go. And I think he might be like, Hunter, you're buttering your mom up here. I think you're trying to let us see that you're using social media as a good thing right now.
Yeah, he
good
is.
for you, Hunter. So now you go in, you get this leave the restraining order. Was there a follow-up or?
Yeah, there's been a follow-up, and she's doing a lot better. She's no longer in Fall River. They got her out of there because, again, the restraining order is a piece of paper, and he did make several attempts at getting in touch with her. And so we had to get her out of there, which we did. But it's good, and that's what we do. We help people get out of their situations, get to safety, not have to live in so much fear, not have to worry so much. I mean,
Yeah, no. It was a turning point in my life. Your show, and Cookie busted Hunter. It was a turning point during the show because, like, at first I'm like, I'm gonna do good with it, but politicians. Let's talk about politicians. Like, dude, that's the low hanging fruit. And at the time, I was dumb for thinking, let's just go after politicians because everybody's going after politicians. It's easy, you know what I mean? And then I had Kevin Rosario on. I'm like, man, I felt like a superhero after doing your show. Like, it was awesome. Like, and now with your foundation after the show, you've also started new groups.
Yes.
Since then.
Yes, we have. We're working really hard to still raise funds. Actually, our friend Matt Brightman, New York Life.
Yeah, he's here.
Hi Matt.
Blum.
He Blum.
Blum.
All my text messages from him, they start Blum.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in there is Blum.
Can't get.
I'm not sure if he knows my real name, my whole name. But he did an awesome job. I went to him. I said, "Listen, we're trying to do groups because what we got out of your show, and even when you do little tidbits, and I don't know that it's happening, there's such a response that comes into us. And what we kept asking is, what would benefit you? And they keep saying, talking to someone like you. Okay. So we decided to put group facilitated meetings together.
Absolutely.
We're still getting funding for it because it's not something that I want to start and then when funding runs out, we have to stop.
Do you have a space for it?
We're working on our space. The space part is pretty much the easiest part for us right now. The funding part is the hardest. But Matt came through with an awesome donation. Whaling City Seafood came through with an awesome donation. So between the two of them, we're on a good roll.
Awesome.
We've applied for quite a few grants, so we're waiting for those to come in. And then when we do, it's open to the community, male and female. I'm going to say that because I know we always have.
Oh, I get yelled at. I'm just a misogynist dirtbag. It's 2018. Yes, men get abused, and yes, men sew in hem pants, yeah.
And we do service both. I mean, honestly, we have not as many men that call in or that write in, but we do have men that are just, I can't go to the grocery store anymore. The kids won't go to the grocery store with me because every time I'm at the grocery store, I'm
surrounded,
being hit by somebody saying, listen, I need your help. Listen,
not hit.
Not actually,
hit up.
Hit up. Sorry, I should have clarified that one. Good call. So, yeah.
You're done being hit. You're not a victim.
No, not anymore. No,
That's
absolutely
awesome.
not. Yeah.
Like you turn around, you wake up in the morning, I'm not a damn victim anymore.
I wake up in the morning. The three of us wake up in the morning.
I always forget about, I talk about you and I always forget about your kids. And I'm going to tell you half the reason why. There's a mental block.
Right.
I'm the softest, I'm soft as puppy shit when it comes to kids.
You really are.
You know what I mean? It's just dude, I can't do it. I can't deal with that aspect of it.
And it's actually...
And I thought I could deal with it when you were on last time, and I almost broke down every 5 minutes,
right.
When you were talking. So I'm all right, I still maintained, but when we start talking about the kids, that's when I lose it.
Yeah, and it is tough. And I think it's like that for a lot of people, and that's why they're the forgotten. Because a lot of people don't talk about the kids.
Nah.
Actually, Terry Crews, I don't know if you saw, I posted last week, he made a very emotional speak for Safe Horizons, which is a place for domestic violence. And he grew up a child of a mother who was being beaten all the time.
Yeah.
And his speech is amazing. And I learned of the speech because Hunter saw it on social media. And he said, Mom, this is me. This is our life. And I thought, wow, that's pretty empowering, kid, that you realize, and this is how you feel. And they're trauma victims, and people don't realize that.
During your time specifically, they were at a developmental age. It's still obviously there. Your children, you got a high schooler and a middle school, right?
One's graduating elementary tomorrow, and the other one's going into a sophomore year. Yeah.
So now that's the developmental age where you learn from all of our beliefs and stuff. You ever thought of beliefs? How did I? You just go to church,
right.
No one taught me to love God. You just went.
You just went.
You better get your ass up and down and kneel and go to CCD, or else you're gonna get smacked when you get home. But the belief system, I'm using religion as is instilled in us, and it's funneled through our parents.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so detrimental to do the right thing and to show your children and bring them up with love. One of the greatest things anyone ever said to me when we got away was, shower them with love. Give them so much love. And that's what I do. And now I have great young men. So
one of our kids is bigger than me. This thing is huge. So he's going to take care of himself.
And the other one's catching up pretty fast. I keep telling the big one all the time. I'm like, listen, buddy, that kid's catching up pretty fast.
Yeah, so. I could imagine, because the two of them, two boys, my daughter kicks the crap out of my son, so I can imagine the two boys, they must get at it sometime. Oh, yeah,
they certainly, as a matter of fact, last night, Cook will attest to that, last night they were at it once again. But boys will be boys, and it is what it is. They're siblings. They're 5 years apart, which I don't think is easy to begin with.
That's what my sister and I were. Close enough, but far enough where there's times where you're leave me alone.
You're annoying.
You're a gnat. Stop.
Right.
Right. Now, back. I told you at the beginning of the show we're just going to go everywhere.
I like it.
This past month has been cool. I've been away, guys. Jen and I were talking. It's been such I'm in such a good place right now. I was telling Jen, and she's yeah, it's good. Both of us are discussing what we're doing with our families, and it's just been awesome. I got some new energy, and we're just going to talk about everything, and just to let people know there's more to life than just this stuff that we're going to discuss.
Right.
Today. We want to just show everything. Your kid's not waking up a victim, but he's still a kid.
Absolutely.
We still want to show everybody that we're just normal people. You go on Facebook. You ever notice Facebook? It's a freaking highlight reel. People come up to me like, you got the best family, rah, rah, you got the cutest kids. Dude, my kid's a jerk. Like, my daughter just kicked my wife in the face on the way out. So are you. I'm like, so they go to this social media highlight reel, but very rarely. And the people that do post the negative parts of their life, you're like, oh, Tommy's posting drama again on Facebook. And you turn it down, Or,
I unfollowed him because I couldn't deal with
this
that
dude's
anymore.
always talking about like his problems. Like, I got my own. But in all seriousness, like, it's a highlight reel. We really don't see real life on social media. Like, you don't see my wife and I arguing. You don't see the work I put in to keep my marriage successful.
Right.
You don't see the work that you're doing. Yeah, we're going to put up some pictures of our kids, stuff that we did, in the past couple months.
But the core root of what we do, we don't get to see.
Yeah, you don't see it on social media, Facebook. No,
the core root of making sure that my sons know that what is right and what is wrong and how to treat people. I mean,
those
are huge. Yeah, and I told this story a couple of times already this week because it makes me happy. We were walking into the store the other day and there was this very elderly couple and he has like 5 bags of soil. And Hunter walked right up to him and said, I'll grab those for you.
That's awesome.
Okay, I did something right. You know what I mean? Like,
freaking, that's awesome.
I understand what I do in the community, and people see me in the community, and they see all of that work, but it's the work at home that really hits for me because I know the diversity that we come from.
Yeah, you planted that seed right there of him grabbing that bag. Like,
absolutely.
You've been watering it, giving him food, you know what I mean? He has grown like a weed.
He certainly has.
But now look, like, doing crap like that, you just like, man, that's awesome.
And he's becoming more involved with the foundation part of it because he sees the need for the kids. Like, he's coming into grips with himself now. He's realizing that he has a story, that things happen to him that, that he witnessed things that he should have never seen in his life. And he knows how he felt. I'll never know how he felt. I know how I felt, but I don't know how he felt. And he's able to connect with other kids that aren't going to talk to anybody else except someone like the adults want to talk to me. Well, the kids need an outlet too.
Yeah, it's as simple as, man, I sit there and I'm like, I'll go meet some people here and there. I'm not going to get into, we got nothing in common, but we have to talk.
You have to see each other.
You have to talk and you got to do stuff. So you're talking, you're like, man, this sucks. Like, I'm talking basketball, this guy's talking about ferns. Like, whatever, just something stupid.
Right.
And you can't connect. You can't get anything out of that conversation except for just what you're there for.
Mindless speaking.
Your son, man, has been through a lot, and maybe you can find a little niche like you have in helping.
Yeah, well,
there's
that's
nothing
what he's
better
doing.
than helping. Like it's like the greatest.
It's the greatest feeling,
dude. That day, like the next day, like I was actually like spent from our show. It was like 7 a.m. I can imagine because you were on the phone till 3 with that lady, and then you woke up and 7 a.m. You're like, hey, I'm going to the police station with this woman.
Yep.
Like, after that was done, no matter how tired you were, that felt freaking awesome, didn't it? That
it did.
You actually like
to know that she felt safe.
You did all that, and I felt awesome.
Right. Well, you did it too, though, because
whatever.
You got to give credit.
I was your road that you took the car on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and you did all. But like, man, it felt freaking great, and that's something that you are doing that your son watching you like.
Right.
And now he's doing it. That's even better.
And they're so understanding, both the boys. Like, they know when mom gets a call and I need it to be quiet, or I need to put myself in my room and I need to have a conversation, or I need to leave, they get it. And they don't ever, there's no guilt there. There's no, there's none of that. They know that this is what I have to do. And that's it.
No, you got to grind. This is what you're here for now.
It is what I'm here for. And, it's all volunteer, and I think that's the best part of it because, it's about how you feel. It's about what you can do to help others, and there's nothing but gratification at the end of it.
Man, I've done a lot of stuff. Parenting's probably the most
hardest.
Is the hardest.
Definitely the hardest.
And being a husband's up there just as hard.
I've never been a husband, Chris.
I'm a misogynist. I only talk about me.
I'm not going to be a husband.
Being a spouse, but it's the most rewarding.
It absolutely is.
It's freaking awesome. Like, you see your kid do something cool. Yeah. But you said you can go on the phone, and man, I put a phone to my ear. My kids just like find drums and crap that I didn't know existed.
They're on top of it.
I'm like, I got to learn that secret. Now you go on. I want to go back to you're not a victim anymore.
No.
Like, that's you now.
It is me now, and I'm very proud of that.
Like, how does that what does that mean to you? Like, I'm not. Is that something you say to yourself, or is it just something that Chris Resendes says to you now? But have you ever woken up and said, "I'm not a victim anymore"? What do you say to yourself?
So when I wake up in the morning, well, here's the thing, is that I have a sense of freedom that I never had before. So it's not that I wake up and I say I'm not a victim anymore. I have a more of appreciation for life than I think most people do, which I truly love. And that's also comes through with the children too, is that we know what the other side is like. And so for us to wake up every day, I'm not going to try to get you there.
No, you're good.
To wake up every day and
Talk,
to kind of live our lives freely and not worry and not have fear and not walk on eggshells. I mean, I don't think any of the three of us wake up thinking, okay, we're survivors. We just wake up and we're like, phew, we have another day. What are we going to do? And I appreciate everybody around me more so than I ever have, because I can appreciate them now. And I don't have to feel bad about that. And I don't have to feel like, you know, what I did for someone is because I'm naive or because I'm being... Everything is very free. And it's... As horrible as our experience was, it's brought the three of us to a place where we truly enjoy life. We enjoy everything about it. We want to go do things, we go and do them. Like we didn't have that luxury before.
Yeah.
So having it now, it just gives us a whole different perspective. So we wake up with no weight on us now,
That's awesome.
and it is awesome.
That's incredible.
We get to live our lives.
It's crazy that you say like, oh, like it was almost worth going through it. Like type. That's how I got a little bit of that out of you. Like
I think that's
we've grown from it.
right.
I guess type.
I
thing.
think that's my way of justifying how far we've come.
Yeah.
And coming to grips with it. I definitely
Could've
wish
gone
I
without
never went through any part of it.
Especially for the kids, right?
For my kids mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I look at. I understand what I endured.
Yeah, shit.
But when I think about the things that my son, the older one, Hunter, still talks about today, it's crazy.
That ain't going away.
It's not. And I look at him and I think to myself, I'm sorry.
Like
I'm so sorry.
he wasn't battered. He wasn't hit. Whatever. Like the way you were.
Physically, no.
Yeah, but man, you can punch me in the arm. Total metaphor. It goes away, the pain.
It does.
But next time you're around me, you go like this, I'm gonna flinch.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's more up here.
It's all
than
the mental. I'll tell you what, the physical abuse part of it, I'm not going to say was easy to deal with, because obviously it was
Yeah, of
not.
course.
And he is a much bigger man than I ever was.
He's huge.
He is a huge dude. So that was never easy. But the mental, the constant put downs, I mean, I'll never forget the first person after I was out of the situation that looked at me and told me I was beautiful, and I put my head down. I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, he has no, what? Because I was called every name in the book but
Besides
that.
that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's where women that are trying to leave or in those situations become completely hopeless, because you are so far in the dirt that
broken.
rising back up, I mean, you can't even think of how to do that. And those are the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I had the two boys, because I would have never allowed myself to stay down there because of them. If I was by myself, I don't know where I'd be today. But based on the fact that I knew what I needed to do for them, brought me to where I am today. I don't take credit for that. I give them credit, because I knew what I wanted for them, and I knew I never wanted them to ever be anything like that. And I also wanted them to understand that that was life that was kind of given to us at the time. That's not what our lives were supposed to be.
Yeah.
We were supposed to flourish. We were supposed to be good people. We were supposed to be positive people, not surrounded by negativity, anger, hate, like constant. There wasn't a lot of positive. And those boys needed to see positive, and now they do. Now everything is
Cool.
flowers and rainbows.
Dirt
and
bikes and
unicorns.
fishing and all that
Dirt
stuff.
bikes and fishing, yes. And those are the great things we do. That as a mom, by myself for as many years as I have been, we've carried on, because those are things that boys do.
You do some pretty cool
We
things with the
do
kids.
cool things, yeah.
I
like cool
I
things.
sent Josh some photos of you and the boys fishing and stuff that I had you send me.
Yeah.
I took my kid fishing the other day, not to steal you, not to roll it thunder, but I took Bray fishing the other day, and he caught a fish instantly.
It's awesome.
And it's like,
Did you use bait, or were you hooking it?
man, I was sunfish down at Buttonwood. I probably could have got arrested because I'm
I
not supposed
probably
to fish
could have.
there and crap. But like at the time, I really, really needed something to make me smile.
Right.
And it was simple, man. It was just like that little cool stuff you do with the kids. My daughter ended up showing up. She caught a fish. I mean, you could throw anything out at Buttonwood and they'll bite it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, the stuff we do with our children, like it's that you now can do.
Yeah.
That you opened up and you said, all right, I'm out. Let's be a normal.
We've gone on more vacations now than we
How
ever
cool
had.
is that?
I mean, and it's just that, most of the time we just go. We want to go and do something, we go and do it. And it's incredible.
Weird, right?
They have so many experiences that I don't know that we would have ever even had in that situation ever. And now it's just a whole new life for us.
Still get used to it, huh?
Yeah.
You pinch yourself still?
Yeah, sometimes I do. So, reality does set in. I mean, as wonderful as this all sounds, and
No, like I said, we just playing the highlight reel right now.
right, as
That's bad
great as
stuff,
it
though.
is, there are still things that linger in the background. Obviously, he is released, and we do worry. I try not to let that rule my life, but we did have to alter our lives quite considerably.
Yeah, you said the last show that you had, like PD's been very helpful with you.
PD's been very helpful, but I have growing boys, and for me to say you can't go there
Sucks, it's
and
tough.
be there for too many hours because I'm concerned or I'm worried. I mean, yeah. And it is, and we're all heightened to it, Like, I'll tell a quick story, which will probably get you. But the other day, I was at work. I'm not really trying, but I know this one is probably going to. I was at work the other day, and this goes to show Hunter. Like, Hunter is a protector. And that's why if you have a chance to watch that video that I'm talking about, the Terry Crews video, like, he talks about all he wanted to do was protect his mom. And unfortunately, he's been in a protective state most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at work, and they went for a walk, and they thought they saw him. And Hunter literally gave the keys to the house to his brother and said, if it's him, you run home, and I'm going to distract him. And I got home, and the little guy looked at me, and he said, because we were talking about how kids fight, he's like, he really does love me, Mom. He really does love me. And then he told me the story, and I said, yeah, he does, and he would do anything to protect you. So as great as our lives are and as free as we are, we're never going to be completely free because we're always going to be paying attention and aware of our surroundings and making sure that people know where we are at all times. I mean, that's just our reality.
I'm finding the Terry Crews thing.
It's great. It really is. It's very emotional.
So, I put up a wall, by the way. I don't know if you noticed it.
You did?
Just now.
Oh.
You kid. I heard you, but I was kind of like trying
I was just looking for something else so that I wouldn't get emotional.
That's
Good
what
job,
I'm saying.
Chris.
Yeah,
Good job.
no. I just, man, people don't want to see me cry. I was the big, overgrown.
Actually, people loved seeing you cry. All I heard was, oh my God, he was so emotional. I'm like, yeah, I've known Chris a long time.
Yeah, I've always been a bitch. But the part that shows, though, is growth, too. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here to protect now.
And he is.
That's-
And I hate that.
You get,
Listen,
embrace it in a way.
I do.
It
But it
sucks
breaks
that he
my
had to
heart
be
that he
there.
has to
Of
do
course,
that. He
of
has to
course.
feel that way. That as a
Heck yeah.
16-year-old boy,
There's no
he
reason
can't
for
just,
that. He's a man now.
He is a man.
You got to take that for what it's worth. Like, you know how these little things, like I said, you almost like taking the good out of a bad experience. How I
Right.
said that earlier.
Right.
Like, take it here. Like, man, dude. That's big what he did.
It is big. Oh, are you kidding? I know. I mean, I just.
He's
hugged him, loved
aware.
him,
He's
and-
attentive. He's on his toes. He's a protector.
Yeah.
That's
He's
not
already
something
trying to
you-
figure out how he can
Yeah,
get
that's
his.
not something that you just have.
No.
Certain men have it, certain men don't, and your son has it.
Yeah.
You should be proud of him. For
I am
being
very
having
proud
that,
of him.
you know?
Yeah, I'm proud of him for so much. Are you kidding? I'm proud of them, both of them. They're both from what they came from and who they are. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more.
It's because of you. And then, you got yourself to be happy, to like be proud.
Right.
You got this Help Save Foundation.
I do.
I'm getting kicked out in 10 minutes, so we got to fly. I want to make sure that we get this part of it. And also I want to talk about our future podcast we're going to do and what's happened since we've gone on podcasts on New Bedford Guide.
Sheesh.
So Help Save, you're doing these classes. You need a space right now. You said you're working on.
No,
a space.
we're good with our space.
You're good with
Yeah,
the
we're
space?
just looking for funds. Money, we need money.
So anyone
We
out
always
there,
need money.
step up. I mean, it's for a great cause.
And we don't want the community to pay, meaning the men and women that are going to come to the meetings.
No.
That's not something that
No,
we're
they're already
looking for.
victims. You need
They're
something-
already victims. Insurance doesn't pay for it.
No.
They've been quite frank in saying, listen, we want to talk to someone like you. We want to talk to someone. We want to be in a group of people who have all experienced it. Because we're the ones that understand. You know, one of the biggest things with Hunter in talking about therapy was he said, those people don't know. Wise beyond his years, of course.
Sure.
Those people have never been through what I've been through.
No.
They've never seen what I've seen, so what are they going to do for me? Well, you're right. I can't argue with that. That he's absolutely right. And I see that with all the women and men that we work with. Some people will just send me an email and say, hey, I saw you at the market today. This is what I was thinking. How do you feel about this? What should I do? Very simple. Not necessarily needing so much help, but they just want to throw stuff off you so that they can get your input and have a better idea of what they can do.
Well, if you want to hear it, you hear it from the source. You don't hear like.
Exactly.
That's why when I talk to these about these experts, like especially when it comes to not only this, but like the stuff that we've been doing the shows with is people getting clean and
Right.
addiction. I want to talk to the Kevin Rosarios.
You
I want to talk to
absolutely
the
do.
Jamie Caseys. I want to talk to the guys that have been in the gutter.
You need to talk to Nick Correa too. I'd love
Oh,
to
I saw
see
Nick
it.
at Shaw's. I
Yeah.
stalked him the other day. He's
Great
been
guy.
busy. He promised me he's coming on.
Good.
He's
Nick.
he is intense. I
He
think
is
if we put him and Rosario's chair over there, someone's ripping their shirt off halfway through the show. It's just gonna get crazy because those two dudes are animals.
Yes.
And
Do great things for the community.
It's freaking
what
awesome.
Nick does for the kids is,
Yeah, no.
is unbelievable.
dude, he's out there the gymming these kids and
Yeah.
teaching them how to be men.
And teaching them how to be men. And in a lot of circumstances.
And that's a dude that came from he was a broken man.
Yep.
And now look at him.
Yep.
And it's just good. You want to hear it. You want to learn from these people. You don't want to learn from the guy that's like reading, studies show that.
Has a PhD.
Yeah,
and
the
studied
hell
in-
with all
yeah.
that. I want a
Yeah.
PhD in life, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want to talk to somebody. I want to get my help from somebody that's been there, done that.
Yep.
If you're going to show me a book, I'm not going to read it, man, unless it was written by somebody. But there's nothing that's been through it, but there's nothing better than just you and I,
Going
what
to the
we're
source.
doing,
Right. And that's why I've been so successful at this.
Because but you're open. You're
Because
willing
it's
to talk.
well, I am open, absolutely. And by being open, it's interesting because my private life is my private life, and I'm very private about it. But when it comes to this, I'm not private about it because I've seen how much it's helping. And that's our main objective. My main objective is to offer women what I didn't have. I mean, I was alone. I felt like I was alone.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any place I could go ever. And I was told there was no place I would ever run and hide. So, years and years of manipulation like that, it takes a lot of undoing to get where you are.
Yeah, you got to learn to trust again.
Exactly. You have to learn a lot again.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite questions is, how long did it take you, and how were you able to deal with relationships afterwards? And my biggest answer is that was one person. Not every person's like that. And that was my outlook of it. And that's why I was able to have relationships with people, because that was one person.
It's easy. It's human nature.
It's human nature.
It's human nature to just group people based upon
Absolutely.
this
And
is
shut
my
down.
experience and that's it. So
Yeah.
for you to look past that, it's big.
I had way too much love to give to not look past that. And I know that, I deserve that in return. And so I wasn't going to shut myself down. What good would that have been for the boys even still?
Well, that's the good thing. But just make sure you take care of yourself too.
I always take care of myself.
Because there's times, man, I'm stressed out, but I'm a giver like you,
Yeah.
and a provider, which you are everything wrapped into one now because of your situation. Obviously, there's help, family members, friends, whoever's in your life, but you're the main center of the earth for your family, and you put yourself aside a lot, My wife does it all the time.
All the time. You have to.
And then I do it sometimes, but you got to remember, take care of Jen sometimes.
I do take care of Jen. I
You know.
do smile all the time.
Nah, it's not
I
a
do.
smile. This is an exterior.
But it's not
crap.
fake smile. It's
Yeah,
a
that's
real
good.
smile.
Yeah,
so.
you just got to make sure you take care of yourself. I mean, these people just, it's nice. It's nice to help. It's nice to give. It's
Right.
nice to do. Like, dude, my wife is right now is in party mode. I can see it in her eyes because she's crazy. You've seen the pictures of my wife's birthday party. It's freaking extravagant craziness. We got pigs coming to the house for a Peppa Pig party, like legit, like pigs. She's probably gonna yell at me for saying
Talking about it.
Talking about it, but anyway.
You should have called me first because I would have told you someone to get pigs from too. That's
Well, we may grab more pigs. I don't know. My wife, don't put it past my wife. I probably should have. So I had a bunch of the guys in the gun groups. I'm like, who's got pigs? You know, you figure a bunch of redneck type dudes.
They got pigs.
Find pigs. They didn't come through. My wife found them. So anyway, I got these pigs coming to my house like next week sometime. They're gonna stay there for a couple of days for the party. Like, but I see her in this mode. And now it's her giving mode. She wants to make it perfect for my daughter, and she wants to just take care of it. And she's stressed out, and she's not, you know, not sleeping correct and being like, and that's a poor example because she's planning a party. But it's my metaphor to you, like, you know, you got to take care of, like, you got to remind these people and yourself.
I remind myself.
I don't know, you've been all on vacations, you got all this other stuff.
I've been on vacations. But that was another thing, like the podcast thing. We'll touch on that quickly.
We
were on vacation when you guys did the podcast.
Yeah, New Bedford Guide has a podcast, everybody, just to fill in what all these shows are getting podcasted over. We cut them into segments, and you can actually. I'm a huge podcast. I'm on this 15 Minutes to Fortune podcast right now. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. It's like you binge watch.
Right.
Like once you find one you like,
forget about it.
It's a wrap. Like I'm listening to this guy and I'm like, I'm ready to run through a wall right now. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm so motivated. I came in here fired up.
You totally did come in here fired up.
Ryan Niddle's 15 Minutes to Freedom. This guy's a badass. I'm going to link him after. And the podcast that we do, you can be in your car. Just throw it on, throw some headphones on, go to the gym, go for a walk, 15, 20 minutes, listen to this. And now we've been doing it with New Bedford Guide because, I mean, we're live right now, and then you got to sit in front of the computer to get it go. But we're going to podcast.
Right.
And Jen, your segment was broken down into several portions. Mike and Josh did a great job with that. And you came up, you messaged me like,
because I didn't understand. Like, I kind of disconnected a little bit while we were on vacation, so I wasn't on any social media really.
Excellent.
So I didn't see what had happened. And all of a sudden, the emails are blowing up, and I'm like, what the heck? How did this happen? What's going on in Massachusetts that all of this is happening right now?
Yeah.
And then I came back, and I went to work, and this woman came up to me, and she said, I heard your podcast. I shared it. It was awesome. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's where it was. I had no idea you guys had even done it.
No, Mike started doing it, and like I'm like, yeah, whatever, podcast.
Yeah, no, and yet
it
the
works.
feedback is amazing because, you know, there were so many women that came forward in that. And that's where you're helping.
Huh?
13,000 downloads.
13,000 downloads. Come on.
You know why? Because they don't have to look at my ugly head, like this shiny thing going on. It's a lot easier. That's, wow, I didn't know that, Josh.
That's
13,000 downloads?
Right.
That's nuts.
So you can
we'll link
understand where
the
it comes
podcast.
from.
Yeah,
the other podcast was great.
I absolutely love the whole podcast thing. Do you listen to him?
I do listen to him.
Matt doesn't listen to podcasts. I was up in his office yesterday. I'm like, dude, you have to listen. And I'm sending him. He's like, what are these podcasts? Is it on my iPhone? Like, Matt's as jazzy and as hip as that dude is. Sometimes he's like Bill Belichick with like what do you call it? Faceplace and stuff like that. Like, you know, instead of Facebook. I'm like,
yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you have to listen to this guy. He's like, you know, just motivate the hell out of you.
Right.
And it's an easy way to listen. You can do multiple things. Throw headphones on.
Yeah, you can.
Like, I was listening today. What was I doing? My son was running back and forth on the monkey bars. I threw it on. Like, he didn't want nothing to do with me, so I let him, you know, I listened.
Right.
So, that being said, you came up with this, and you're like, I'm getting all these questions.
Yeah, I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what was going on.
So, what do you do?
I answer them. And I do everything that I need to do to take care of them the best that I can. But that came from a simple podcast, and it was, you know, maybe a 5-minute little...
Yeah, he cuts it into little bits.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Again, too, so...
And my first podcast, actually, was before my first speech ever. And I don't know if you remember Mike Blumberg that we went to school with.
Yeah.
But he knew I was having my first speech ever, and he said, I want you to listen to this podcast. And I listened to it over and over again at night. And I said, all right, I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to get up and I'm going to speak in front of all these people and I'm going to be okay. I can do this. But that's how I first got turned on to podcasts.
I love them now.
Yeah.
I am so addicted to podcasts. And you can, like, delve into anything you want.
You really can.
Just get a Stitcher, whether it be Stitcher. I got this one that casts it all. Like it just digs in through like all the different services.
Yeah.
And you can choose and
Pick
all
whatever
that.
you want out of
You know,
it.
just type in sales, or you want to type in motivation, you want to type in news, or I listen to podcasts now here and there because I lean right, we'll say. So I try to listen
No.
to leftist politicians and leftist ideas, so that way I can kind of straighten my
sides.
compass. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's the easiest. I don't understand how people just aren't addicted to them. I hope
They
like, I
listen
don't
to
get,
the
like, a
radio, it's
brain
just as
tumor. Yeah,
easy.
the hell with them. Like I'm not listening to Little Tay on
No.
from 107. Like that's not happening. Like it's nonsense.
No.
You want to start a podcast?
Let's start a podcast.
All right.
Let's do it, Chris.
We're gonna start a
I
podcast.
think we'll be helping
guys.
a lot of people by starting a podcast.
And I want, when we do the podcast, guys, if you are listening and watching, send us questions, and we will do half the podcast, 25 minutes,
Yeah.
answering questions, and the other half talking about just real life stuff. Just, hey, what'd you do? What'd you eat?
Works.
Done. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
It's the first show back. Josh is gonna go. Hey,
We're
screwed
saying
him
praise
bad.
for Josh. Yes.
Hey, first show, and he's like, dude, thanks for telling me. His poor son had a swim meet, and he is feeling horrible about it, but he came through for me. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
And that's why it's only 8:02. I'm out.
We're doing good.
Thank you, everybody. Jen,
Thank you.
mark your calendar. Any Thursday, I need you back as soon as possible. Just to be a co-host. Like, you saw Helena. She was talking to you the whole time. She didn't
Right,
want to talk
she
to
really
me.
was talking to you the whole time.
Like,
I felt bad because I had to look
I know.
that way.
I don't know immigration stuff, but I'll listen to you.
But I'm
Helena.
listening.
New Bedford, thank you very much. Anyone, if you're in a situation that we described tonight,
HelpSaveFoundation.org.
helpsavefoundation.org, all the information's there. She will respond. Message me here in Bedford Guide. I'll get it to her. Chris at New Bedford Guide. Any of the New Bedford Guide links that you can Help Save Foundation, we will put it in the comments. And we will podcast this tonight. I'll break it up into sections, and we'll get it out to you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for your viewership. I will be back next week if they still want me to be back.
They do.
Chris Burrell, great guy. There's a guy that's on the left that actually gets it with me, that knows that I'm in it for the same reason as him. We want to make everything better for everybody. And Frank Durant, guy running for county commissioner. We're going to be talking about some stuff then. Thank you, everybody. I got to go. Josh is going to kill me. Have a great night. God bless you.